Hello, Sam. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me get my earphones to work. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
I think we're good. Let me switch something up. Okay, I think everything's good to go. They had me, like I said, they had me work late. Usually that's how it works out. You think you're going to get off early and it doesn't work.
Every time I think I'm going to get out early, I wind up having to work late.
I hear you. Is there echo or anything?
No,
Okay,
sounds good.
let me, let me just see what's going on. Just checking everything.
Okay.
All right.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Let's see. Just got to
Which
tweak
is fine.
something. Okay, let's see. Okay, it says we should be live now. So let me just double check this. Okay, I think everything's working.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, so you got some plans in the work to start a first annual worm forming convention?
Yes. So
Okay.
it is November the 4th and 5th. We've got some really, really, really great speakers lined up. Um, one thing that we focused on, AJ, was simplicity. Um, we really wanted, people to be able to understand the worm business. You know, I've been to some worm conventions, and some of the things were kind of over my head. Um, and not that they weren't valuable now. It just wasn't for me. Because, as most of y'all know, I'm in the worm production business, not the casting production. So, some of the stuff that they talked about was just really over my head because it wasn't what I was looking for. But this convention is going to be a lot about worm production. But also, we've got a couple of speakers coming to talk about marketing, because I think marketing is one of the really big things in the worm business. We all think about, oh goodness, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to grow all these worms, and that's kind of the easy part in a sense. The marketing is probably one of the hardest parts, and so I wanted to have some good speakers. We've got one that's going to be there more so about social media marketing, and the other one is more around a website. And so I think those will be very, very valuable information. I wished I would have started marketing in the beginning. I'm about 3 or 4 years behind on marketing. I just started marketing myself about, it's been about 2 or 3 months now. We revamped my website, and we just got a lot of things going on there, but it can be rather expensive. But if you get the right team, the sales should generate more than what you're paying out on your marketing. If you're not generating enough income to pay for the marketing, then you've got the wrong marketing team. That's
I
just
hear
the way
you.
I feel about it. I
No,
mean,
I
you have to be
understand.
able to pay them out of what they're producing, right?
Yep, that's right.
There is a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Uh, Heath LaFavors, who's helping me put all this together. Matter of fact, he's done most of the legwork. Him and Troy, um, is we're most people's looking at flights into Jacksonville or Tallahassee, Florida. but we just found out you can actually fly into Valdosta. Now you would probably have a flight change in Atlanta, but you would take a Delta airline right into Valdosta, and then you're only 10 minutes away from the conference. So that was good to know. And he said that the price was relatively the same as it was to fly into Jacksonville or Tallahassee. So really want people to look into that, because I know some people are having to rent cars and things, and this way they would only have to get a Uber or a taxi or what have you. But yeah, we're really, really excited about it. It's going well. We still have we've got 3 sponsors. We've got room for a few more sponsors. So if you want to, come and set up we've got your space for a 6-foot table. We put you on our site. When we do our posting and advertising for it, we're also, including the sponsors in on that. And it's only like $125 to be a sponsor. And, I think, I'm not 100%. I better not say that because I'm not 100% sure. Kind of wish Heath was on here so that he could help go over some of this stuff, because he knows a lot more about what's going on, because he's, like I said, he's handled the majority of this for me because I am just super busy all the time.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a tour of my farm on Sunday after the conference is over. So we'll be all able to go there, and we can commingle. And the one thing that I got out of the conferences that I've been to is the networking. Just meeting the people, like, at the one in Arizona with Zach, which Zach's going to be a speaker at ours. I really enjoyed his conference. His audience there, probably at least half, if not more, were customers of mine. So I was able to put faces with names, and it was just so exciting, to meet the people that I probably would have never met, because, some of these people were from Canada, and we actually have some people from Canada coming to ours as well.
That's cool.
And then the one in North Carolina, there was a lot of people there that I knew that were customers of mine, and then a lot of them that I didn't know, but now I do, because now they're customers of mine. So what you get out of being present is by far, to me, the most valuable piece that you get out of it is just meeting the people. And, in this business, and you probably know this to be true, AJ, is even as much worms as I grow, I still can't produce enough. So I'm always looking for my next person to be growing worms for me. We have a farm out in California and a farm out in Iowa that grows for us. And I hope to have one in every state before I kick the bucket.
Yeah, I understand. So I have a question for you real quick. What part of Iowa? Do you know what town that part?
Lord have mercy. If you hadn't asked me that, I could have told you. He's not up and going yet. It's okay. Yeah. He's not up and going yet because he just got his worms. He's probably had them maybe 7 months or so now.
Okay.
And but it's not far from Des Moines. I know that because the airport that the worms fly into is in Des Moines, and we had some trouble with the airport there, not getting the worms off the plane in time. And of course, we had a DOA, so we had a little bit of trouble with theirs. But it's pretty interesting. He's got a huge. He has a pig farm, commercial pig farm, And he had a bunch of, I guess, Farron houses is what you call them. And he's turning those into worm farms. It's going to all be a worm farm there. So pretty excited. He's been toying around with some of the inputs with the worms, and trying to get that all tweaked because he's using hog manure. And of course, out there they grow a lot of corn. So he's using some corn stalks and stuff. So he's trying to get his ratios correct and stuff. So it's been a bit slow because, with different inputs is different outcomes, so you have to find a balance there. And I've never dealt with pig manure, so I couldn't help him on that. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error.
I know that stuff. I know it's pig manure, but man, that stuff stinks when they lay it out around here. It's like, oh my gosh.
To talk about that, we had when my son was younger, he was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9. We lived in a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous home. It could have been $1 million home, but it was really cheap. And I thought, God, why is this house so cheap? And we moved in there, and come to find out there was a worm farm across the road. And we didn't smell it when we first went there, or anything. But after we got moved in, oh my God, I was like, now I know why it's so cheap. I'm glad we rented before we bought. And it was sad because this house was just absolutely gorgeous, but you could not go outside. It was terrible, terrible. But my son loved it. He would go there and help the old man with the hogs.
I hear you. Yeah, it's funny. Like when I pour concrete and we have to do hog confinements, I'm like, please don't let me smell like this.
Yeah.
It don't take long for that smell to get in your pores. I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I've been dealing. I just got a load of brewery grain, and I'd never used brewery grain. I just heard everybody talk about brewery grain. Of course, they were dealing with 5-gallon buckets of it. I'm dealing with a tractor trailer load of it, and I'm telling you that stench is terrible. So my gin trash that I normally get, they're out of until mid-October. So I got a load of mushroom compost. And so I've been mixing that together and just letting it compost down and try to use that and see. But I won't be getting another whole truckload of brewery grain, I can tell you that.
Oh, I hear you. Someone had a question for you. It's on the screen.
There it is. There we go. Oh, hi everybody. Let's see.
Says, is the manure and corn stalk pre-composted?
Where is the question, AJ?
I clicked. Let me see. 1 second. Must not be showing in the comments. You sit like on the.
I'm in the comments.
Yeah, it's like on the screen. I clicked on there. You must not be getting it.
Let me see. Uh-oh.
Oh, I had it on high chat. Is it good now?
Okay, hang on. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, I must have had. It said hide chat. I don't know why I said that.
It's making me go through. So, okay, there we go.
Oh, you got it now?
Is the manure and corn stalk pre-composted? I'm not sure. I think it was partially composted, but not fully. I'm not 100% sure. I know it wasn't fully composted, especially the corn stalks. So he was playing around with that. And that's one thing that I mentioned to him was, composting it.
So your first annual worm farming conference, did you have it like you were thinking about like a year ago, or how did you come up to finally having your own?
So, as you know, Rhonda Sherman had retired, and so we didn't know when or if there would be another East Coast conference. And I I actually didn't come up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many people just coming to me telling me that they really wanted me to hold the next one. And at first I wasn't going to do it because I just stay so busy. And different ones just really kept after me. And they were like, we'll do all the putting it together, and you won't have to do all that. And because that's what I was worried about, was really having the time to to really put this thing together, because it takes a lot to put one of these things together, because we didn't have a website. We didn't have, we were starting from scratch. And not to mention the cost of the facility is just astronomical, and then if nobody shows up, you're just out that money. So I was kind of like, I don't, didn't know if I would or not. And but anyway, different ones just really kept after me, and I was like, okay, fine, and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, why not? Because for me, I just never feel like I'm the right person a lot of times for things. And then I was like, why not? I have a lot, I've grown a lot really fast, but it's just been through trial and error and a lot of hours. I'm very dedicated to what I do, very customer focused, and I think just the good old fashioned customer service is what's really been one of our keys to our success. Not too many people put their cell phone number on their website, but that's what I have, and I'm available usually up till midnight, most nights. And so hi V. Yeah, it will be a great learning experience for sure. I'm excited to be doing it.
So do you have like a lot of people registered right now, or you still?
So we do. It's not in the hundreds by no means, but I think for our very first one, and the fact that up until yesterday, I didn't know that, we had an airport in Valdosta that people could fly into. So a lot of people, were hesitant because they would have to rent cars from Jacksonville or Tallahassee. And so now I think some of those people hopefully will see this. We're going to start advertising it, that they can fly into Valdosta and only be 10 minutes from the conference from that. I think that's going to change some things, but we are building momentum the closer it gets. We stayed at like 3 tickets for a minute. And now we're, at about 30, I believe.
That's good.
Which isn't bad for, the fact that, we still got a month before the tickets go up another 100. That's another thing. October the 4th, the tickets go up $100. So right now they're $100 cheaper than they will be come October the 4th, because we have them discounted right now. So people need to know that. And then also the accommodations for the hotel, there is a link on the website, which is www.wormfarmingconference.com. And that, if you look under accommodations, there is a link for discounted hotel rooms. It's a very nice hotel. The conference room we have there is very, very nice. We have a lot of space for the sponsors. There's actually parking where you go in at that we could actually set up outside if we needed to. And we're kind of thinking just a little bit next year about maybe doing a trade show and conference together where people can actually come and set up, kind of like not a flea market or farmer's market, but maybe something kind of similar to that. And, have that to go along with it. But I think, I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the sponsors that we have has a brand new product that they're rolling out. And they're going to be rolling it out at our conference. So that was really exciting too. So, but yeah, I would love to see as many people come that we can get there. And it's just fun. I mean, there's not a lot of people that want to talk about worms, so when you can get a room full of people wanting to talk about worms, it just makes your day.
Yeah, I got you.
I love it. I love talking about worms. I'm going to check some of these.
Yeah, dude, go
ahead. Comments and see if I've got anybody asking a question.
So, what's your goal for are you trying to get like more like new people to come or just anyone? I mean, we're all learning things daily, but do you have like newbies that are going to be attending? A lot of like new people.
We do. We have some newbies that are attending. We have some that's, hadn't been in it very long. And then we have some that's, been in it for quite some time. And, Captain Matt will be there from the Worm People. I know everybody loves him. He's very knowledgeable. And I believe his son and his grandson is coming with him. Some of our speakers, I'm sure y'all know quite a few of these. I don't know if you know, we have Ariel, I hope I get her name right, McCallahan. She's from Grassroots Gardening on Instagram, I believe it is, Facebook or Instagram. She's going to be going over with us, and which I'm going to learn from that. Because I'm, of course, trying to build my Instagram and my YouTube. It's doing well, and but we want to move it more into Instagram as well. Of course, Captain Matt, most everybody knows him. Greg Allison from Green Greg's Garden. You may know him, don't you, AJ?
Yeah.
He's been around for some time. He's going to be there speaking. Grow Oya, y'all may not know them. They are a water retention solutions. They sell what they actually sell is Grow Oyas. They're a clay watering pot, but it's not just about that. I actually got 2 of those, and I have them in one of my worm huts and a hungry bin because I wanted to see how they worked with worms. Like if somebody wanted to go on vacation and was concerned about, having enough moisture for their worms, if these would work. So I'm doing an experiment with those right now as we speak. So I'll be letting y'all know how that works out. And then Heath LaFavors, he's him and Troy Hinkie are both going to be speaking. Heath owns Ozark Worm Farms, and of course Troy Hinkie is the compost guru. They are the ones that's really been helping me put everything together, and without them I certainly couldn't have done it. Joel Mark from Easy E-commerce, they're going to be talking about marketing. They are actually who I use to do my new website. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it is absolutely I love it. Love it. Kayla Nelson.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kayla Nelson. from Fly High Worm Farms. I think just about everybody knows her. She's going to be speaking. She's going to be talking to us about beneficial insects and bugs and things like that we find in our worm beds, also as well as intruders. So I think that'll be very interesting for a lot of people that are new and don't understand that there is a lot of things going on in a worm bin, and just because you see a bug doesn't mean that something's wrong. So did you have a question before I go on?
Yeah, it's on the screen real quick. Some Las Vegas worm farm.
Oh, okay.
If you can see it.
Random question: why are trommels so wide? They take up so much space. Would a smaller diameter be as efficient? So, to answer that question, I've had both. I've had the smaller ones that were about half the size as what we do now, and no, they're not as efficient. You need time for those to rotate, and the space, the width of them as that material is going around, you're going to get a lot more of your castings out than if you have a smaller diameter. That's my opinion. I've used both, and that's what I've seen. So I would not go back to a small one. Barchuck, and you have Oyas, huh?
Barchuckin's got all types of gadgets.
Yeah. I haven't been on Facebook or even YouTube lately. I mean, I've just with it being just me and my granddaughter 90% of the time, I barely have time to do anything anymore.
Do you want to talk about your tragedy with your electricity and your worms?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we just went through a direct hit of a hurricane that came through Valdosta, and even into Lakeland, where I actually live. I live in Lakeland, but my farm is in Valdosta. Valdosta got hit the hardest. I mean, there were so many houses with trees down on them. It was just unbelievable. It looked like a war zone. I've never seen anything like that. And at our farm, luckily, we had a few trees down, but nothing on any structures or anything like that. But we were without power for a week. Now, me being without power for a week and trying to put out 100 orders, y'all, it was an experience, let me just tell you. So, we have 3 really big generators, but they're not working. They will be working here shortly, because I learned a lesson. But anyway, so my husband had a small generator, and it was enough to run my trommel, a light on our table, and a fan. Well, for those of you who know, Tabitha brings her baby to work with her every day. He's 5 months old. Well, of course, we're going to give him the fan. So her and I just had to sweat it out, And so we're trying to work a trommel in the dark, basically, because the light's on our table where we're trying to get the worms to go down. Because even when you trommel worms to separate them from the material, you're still going to get material in there. So we still use the light method as the finishing process to get the worms clean, because we want to sell just worms. We don't want to sell worms with other stuff on there, because that's pounds. People are paying for pounds, so we want to make sure they're getting what they're buying. And so we're trying to do all this in the dark. And normally we have a cold room that we could hold the worms, if we harvested on Thursday or Friday to ship on Monday. Well, we couldn't, because we didn't have any air. So we were having to harvest and ship all in one day. And with this one little old light, and it was just funny. But had we not got power on the day that we got it on, we were to the point we were going to have to start toting buckets of water, either from the ditches or from our neighbor, who had a generator that he was able to pump water. So he called me and he said, "Hey, if you need water, bring one of those big blue tubs down here. We'll fill it up, whatever we need to do." But my beds were, y'all know I produce, so I've got my beds really wet, so they were fine, but they were getting to the point, that I needed to do something fairly soon if we hadn't have gotten power on. But thank God we got it on. As far as our home here at home, we had 13 trees down in the backyard, and only one hit a chicken coop. But that was the only damage that we had. Now, we had some damage on my screen over my pool, but it was just the screens were blown out. It wasn't the structure of it. No trees fell on my house or anything like that. So all in all, I felt like we came out really, really blessed, because there was a lot of people that, trees fell on their house. One guy, a tree fell on his bedroom, and his wife and kids got out of the house and went to the neighbors, and about that time a tree fell in the living room. So it was rough in Valdosta though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad everything worked out for you.
Me too. I was worried. I was sitting here. I videoed a lot of it, but the video just was not showing what you could see. It was totally different actually watching it and then watching it on a video, because the video just couldn't catch the way the trees were just really swaying, like it's like, oh my gosh. So
yeah,
I've never been in a hurricane, so it was new for me.
Yeah, they're bad. Like I said, if they hit land, and they can do a lot of damage. So think about New Orleans with the Katrina, how it destroyed that town. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes, that was horrible. That was horrible. We didn't have it that bad. Bad enough, but we didn't have it that bad.
So okay. So your conference, you said it's going to be in a building. What building is that going to be in?
It's going to be at the Holiday Inn there in Valdosta. Okay. I think it's Hill Avenue. It's a pretty nice part of town. I don't know of any kind of bad activity or anything that goes on around there. It's right off the interstate for those that are driving, and it's not far from Austin Steakhouse, so that is a very good place to eat. We eat there at least once a month because it's really good.
I'm hungry. I haven't
Hi,
eaten supper.
Nana.
She's awesome. Nana's awesome.
I love watching her videos.
She's got so much knowledge. Plant Obsesses, and from Plant Obsesses here too.
Plant Obsessed. I watch a lot of hers too.
She's got Big Blue and all those other things.
Yes.
She's got,
yeah, I'm thinking about taking one of our Bagsters and doing a wedge system in it just to kind of see what it'll do. I've been wanting to experiment with wedge systems anyway, because that's what Arizona Worm Farm does on a large scale, and I think it'd be pretty neat to see what that'll do. I know Captain Matt just did one, and he turned his CFT that he had into a wedge system here recently, so I'm excited to see how that's going to work for him.
Does he still do weekly videos, or he's kind of been stepping down as well, I'm guessing?
I think he's about to get back to him, just like with anybody, or all of us. You get so busy during the season, and then you're coming into the summer, and you're so busy in the summer just trying to keep everything cooled down, and you know, it's almost as busy as it is in the summertime if you have a lot of worms to, you know, just to try to keep everything regulated. You know, you don't want to use too much water, but you know, you need some moisture in there. But, you know, like in our warehouse, we don't have, it's not heated and cooled, so it's not controlled. We're not in the hot sun, but it does get hot in there. And we have a lot of fans. You know, we keep a lot of it, you know, the air circulating, but we're still constantly looking at our beds. And, you know, and of course um, the worms aren't as active, you know, as far as producing during the summer. And so um, you just spend a lot of time just trying to keep everything regulated. And of course, you know, that's kind of during the time that you're trying to drum up new business because your sales are down online, or they say they are. I sometimes don't know that to be true because sometimes I'm like, why are people still ordering worms? It's 100 degrees outside, you know. But you know, I'm looking really forward to fall. Like our temperature today was in the 80s. It was 80, 85. Had a little breeze going on. Oh, it was just a beautiful day. And it's been like that for a week now. We went from, you know, our heat wave to this beautiful weather. And I'm already seeing the cocoons, you know, starting to flourish. And I'm like, yes, you know, because this summer, you know, like I said, with it being as hot as it was and all, they just, you know, they're just trying to survive themselves. You know, they're not worried about producing no cocoon for sure. So, but
So I have another question about your conference. Your speakers, how long are they going to be speaking? You know, like 30
I
minutes,
think we
45
have them
minutes?
either on a 30 or 45 minute, and I want to say it's 45. Um, I have the itinerary, but I don't have it here in front of me.
Yeah.
I know we're supposed to, I believe, try to get that put up on the website. But I think it's 45 minutes. And I think we're going to try to have a break after every two speakers, just so people can, you know, go to the bathroom, stretch their legs, you know, spend a few minutes conversing. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do with this conference was have more time to mingle, because I think that is so valuable. I mean, not that the speakers aren't valuable, because, you know, for me, I forget what it was like when you were new. Like, I have a hard time sometimes figuring, like, what do people need to know? Because, you know, once you've been doing it a while, it's just second nature to you. So you don't think about the little things that you learned along the way. And so that to me is one thing that's real important about the speakers is you get that type of information, but then the commingling with one another and building rapport with someone, meeting someone that you didn't know, and winding up partnering with them, you know. And when I say partner, I mean, you know, somebody you can call when you're having trouble and you don't really know what to do. And oh, I remember him, you know, and you become friends, and then you can call on them, you know, when you have trouble. And I mean, we have Facebook, and there's some great groups out there, you know, but sometimes when you're getting 15 different answers, you don't really then know what to do, because everybody has an opinion, and not all of those opinions are correct. Not all of them's wrong, because sometimes it depends on what area you live in. You know, we probably do things differently down here in the South because we have heat and we have humidity, where, you know, somebody else may live where it's cold and dry, or somebody might live where it's hot and dry. I mean, it just, there's so many variables depending on where you live, that a lot of those people are all right, but that's why you need to know where you live or where they live to be able to help them, you know. because it's not a cut and dried thing. Growing worms is not cut and
Mhm.
dried. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
variables.
no, I definitely agree with you on that. The I gotta, your sifter that you have, the one you can shake on a slider. How are those with wet castings? Will they sift wet castings, or they have to be damp, or you know what I mean? Because mine are
They
like,
can't be real wet.
okay,
It's just like with the trommels. If it's too wet, it's going to clog the screens.
okay,
Um, Generally, uh, I use mine almost daily, honestly.
mm-hmm,
But when we're dealing with wet material and I need to get an order out and I don't have no choice but to use
mm-hmm,
wet material,
mm-hmm,
I will mix in some peat moss with it.
okay,
But then that has to go back. All those castings and everything has to go back in a bin
mm-hmm,
so that it can go back, through, because you don't want to be selling somebody castings
mm-hmm,
that's full of peat moss,
yeah,
you know. And I've heard people, using, cocoa core to kind of dry it up too. Um, but if I'm going to add anything to it, then it has to go back in my worm bin and be processed,
mm-hmm.
so that I'm not selling somebody castings that's full of something that's not castings.
I definitely understand that. Does anyone have experience with the MK1 from Uncle or?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So when I first started, I had the NK1, or MK1. I bought off of Facebook Marketplace a guy that was getting out of it, and he had bought the Unco bucket system, the MK uh, shaker, and the they call it a pulverizer. It's really not a pulverizer because it won't pulverize paper or nothing like that. But what I use it for is to fluff up my peat moss for my shipping. So, um, will I have the conference next year? Yes, we plan. If this goes well, we plan to do this yearly. Um, Now, even if we don't have as many people as we would like this year, we know this is our first year. So, we may not get as many, but I think as we progress and get better and better at hosting and just all the things, and people get better and better with the rapport from us, I think they'll just get better and better. So, that was a good question. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the Unco system. The thing that I didn't like about the shaker thing was, again, you had to have really dry material, just like with the Brockwood. With the Brockwood, it's got to be dry to go through those screens. Um, Even the trommel, it can't be extremely wet. We cut the water off because we have automated water, and we cut that off for about a week before we ever start harvesting that section or those beds. Because, like I said, we run our beds very wet, and there's no way that we could harvest castings out of how wet our beds are. They have to dry out. Now, as you get down further into the bed, the top part will be fairly dry, not extremely dry, but, dry enough to go through the trommel. But as you start getting lower and lower, it starts getting wetter and wetter. So you may have to harvest half of the bed and then let it dry out some more and then harvest the rest, to get all of your castings out. And I'm talking about the way I'm set up. Now, if you're set up differently, you may not have to do that. I know the windrows, it's a little bit different because that water can can just seep right out of those beds. You know, they don't have anything holding them in. So, hi, Debbie. So it really just depends on how you're set up. Now, the way Zach's set up, that shaker system works good for him. When we went to that conference, we toured his farm, and he has a, what do you call that? A conveyor that sits down in the ground, and as the stuff's being shaken down, it falls on that conveyor, and then it moves up to a pit that it drops down into, and then they can move the castings around from there. But even at that, so when they're taking that wedge, you know, taking those chunks off the wedge, you know how your castings will clump up. So somebody has to stand there and unclump them. So they have, you know, they may have 50 gorilla wagons full of castings. And then when people aren't busy throughout the day, they'll come over there and they'll crumple it up, you know, so that when it gets to the sifter, you know, it can go through the sifter. Otherwise, it just be these big clumps that just roll off to the end. So there's always things that you got to pre-do before you can do. Even when we take up our beds and we put them in the wheelbarrows, you know, as we scoop them into the trommels, we have to, you know, do that too. We have to, you know, break that material up before we just shovel it into the trommel, you know, because it's clumpy, you know.
So your big bins that you have, I think they're wide or something. How many pounds of worms do you think that has in there? Rough estimate.
So we started those beds with 32 pounds because they're 4x8.
Okay.
And, you know, so 1 pound of worms per square foot of surface area is 32 pounds. If I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yeah, 32 pounds. Tell me I'm right. Somebody tell me I'm right.
You're right. You're right.
Okay. Because that's what we started them with. And I think they max out at 3 pounds per square foot of surface area under ideal conditions. Now, I can tell you, I don't have ideal conditions. It's been summertime. It's been hot, humid. So, you know, no, we're not seeing that right now. Now, normally I see probably, I think the most that I have actually seen in my beds, and this is not every bed, is about 2 to 2.5 pounds per square foot of surface area. And that depends on the time of year, you know, because if it's spring or fall, we're going to get lots more, you know, production out of it than we are if it's winter or summer. But even winter gives us more production than the summer does.
So who buys worms from you in the winter then? What states, you know?
All of them.
Okay.
All of them. And, you know, again, sometimes if it's someone up north, say somewhere like you in Wisconsin and you're minus 32 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we just can't ship, and we just have to tell people we can't ship. And, you know, if it's 2 or 3 weeks and they're getting antsy, then, you know, we can refund them, but we're not going to ship them worms knowing it's just going to kill them. I mean, it's the same way with the heat. You know, I had about middle of August to the middle of September, it's really risky for us to ship worms. Depending on where they're going. And so we usually have to postpone, you know, shipping worms during that time because we can't ship if it's over 90 degrees. You know, we can stretch it to 91, you know, but it's just really best not to.
No, I definitely understand that. What I would do, I'll open it up if anyone wants to pop on for a few minutes, and we'll try to keep it to about an hour because I know everyone's, you know, we all have our schedule. So if anyone's interested, I'll add the link and you can pop up real quick and ask questions or let's go from there. Show your worm beds, whatever you got going on. But no, I'm excited for you to hold up 1 second. I'm excited that you got this thing started. It's like you're stepping out of your comfort zone, doing this for your first time. So that's awesome to see you do that.
Yeah, it's definitely new. But I think it's gonna come off as a really good hit, honestly. At first I was a little bit nervous, but now I know there's 4 or 5 people that, has told me they're definitely coming. They just, got to get all their little ducks in a row and all. Because, it's hard to, especially when you're first starting out, to leave your farm. I mean, you're leaving live animals. You got to make sure either somebody's there to take care of them, or you get them all took care of to where they're good for a few days, while you're gone. And so it's a lot to try to figure out, everything, and then the logistics, and of course your budgets, and all that kind of stuff. But one good thing about it, AJ, is a lot of people ask me all the time, do I do live tours? Do I do a tour? We do tours, but we charge $300 for 2 hours.
Okay.
And really and truly, that's just to help us cover the insurance for you to come on our property, because it costs me about $10,000 a year just to have insurance for people to step foot on the property.
Wow.
The good thing about this is you're paying $297 for a 2-day conference, and you're getting a free tour. So, you're really getting your money's worth. And as everybody knows, I don't sleep much. So if you want to hang out and talk till midnight, we can hang out and talk till midnight. So, I totally enjoy, what I do and talking about worms and stuff.
Let's see. As a conference organizer, the people who buy last minute tickets are a major source of stress.
You see why I was laughing now?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh gosh.
AJ,
awesome.
I'm gonna tell you this. I had a customer, one of the craziest customers I've ever had. Well, no, I can't even call them a customer because they didn't buy anything. I had a person call and left me a voicemail demanding that I speak to them right now, and they were so angry that I was not answering my phone. And I'm like, who is this person? What in the world? So, of course I call them back, and thanks, Las Vegas Worm Farm. Enjoy your evening. But anyway, so I called them back. They didn't answer. Well, they called me back about 8 or 8:30, and he was like, wow, I can't believe you answered your phone, and and all this. And he just goes down this rabbit hole. I'm like having a hard time even keeping up with what he's even talking about. He's telling me he lives in the woods. He's an artist. He's a marketer. Tells me I should change my name to the correct spelling.
No.
And I said, no, I won't do that. I said, my grandkids call me Mimi, and my granddaughter, that's the way she first wrote my name. I know it's M-I-M-I. But she wrote it M-E-M-E, just like it sounds, me.
Yeah.
And that's how that's why it's written the way that it is. And I was like, no, I'm not changing my name. And anyway, he goes on to say that blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Anyway, to make a long story short, he asked me, he said, well, I need a lot of worms, and I don't deal with stupid people. He said, you're not stupid, are you? I said, I don't believe so.
No.
He said, well, can you tell me what this conversation was about? And now I'm totally lost as what this man, he never got to the point of anything. And I said, well, are you talking about buying worms? You talking about my name change? Or are you talking about, what he said? You know what? I wouldn't deal with you. You're stupid.
Oh
And
my
hung
God.
up the phone.
Wow.
It blew my mind.
Yeah, that's not cool at all. That's
Oh, I called him back, AJ. He wouldn't answer his phone.
Oh, imagine.
Oh, but he got him a nice text.
Mm-hmm.
He got him a nice text.
Mm-hmm.
And told him he could take his
Wow.
business elsewhere. I didn't deal with those kind of
Exactly.
people. That's the joy of owning your own business. You get to,
Yeah.
I'll bend over backwards for anybody, but you ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna call me stupid.
Yeah, disrespect. I don't know why people
Very
do that. It's like,
disrespectful.
yeah. Anne wants to know real quick, not to change the subject on you. Will it be recorded, your conference?
Yes. So we are, well, I say yes. We are
Mm-hmm.
in the process of finding a, how do you say it, videographer.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can find one that's reasonable enough.
Mm-hmm.
We had one guy give us a cost of $9,000.
Oh.
So of course we can't do that. But if we can find one, we are gonna record it, and
Mm-hmm.
it will be for sale after
Mm-hmm.
the conference.
Okay. Are you gonna speak?
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes.
That's great.
Oh yes. Yes, we are. I think I may be the last speaker,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can go over, with where I'm at, located,
Mm-hmm.
so that everybody can, come on out to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's awesome.
Oh
I
yeah, but
remember
I'll
you
be
used to.
speaking. I'll be speaking on, worm reproduction.
Yeah. It's funny how YouTube has made us all come out of our comfort zones. Now we're more, because without this we wouldn't be where we're at, because we talk to the cameras, and then
Oh my gosh, AJ! I remember the first time that I tried to do my first video. I had to talk myself for months to finally get. And listen, I hadn't even posted it. It was just for me to hear it myself. It wasn't even about anybody else hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
It was about me hearing myself. And and I still can't really listen to rewatch them, because I just hate the way I sound on video.
Yeah,
I hate listening to myself.
when people say that they hate their own voice, I don't know why we're like that. But it's true though. It's like, yeah, but that's just you. You know what I mean? This is how I speak. That's how you speak. It's like, yeah, it's like.
Well, I'm really raw. I don't do video editing. I don't have time for it. So I'm really raw. And, this old mind can't think as quick as it used to. And I'm sometimes getting lost or can't find the word that I'm trying to say. And, so all that's on there. And it's like, God, why couldn't I think of that at the moment, And so I get frustrated with myself. But I'm like, you know what? This is me. This is who I am. Everybody who knows me knows I'm just very truthful. I'm very honest. I just put it out there as it is. And I don't sugarcoat. I don't, I don't put a lot of fluff in it. I'm just trying to get the information out there, to help people. That, to me, that's what it's all about. It's all about helping people. And that's what I love about the worm community, is everybody, for the most part, everybody. You have a few, but for the most, everybody is so willing to share information and help one another to be successful. It's just so amazing,
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. Yeah, we haven't done a live stream in a long time. Like I said, we all been busy with our lives, and as things change, and you just try to squeeze in time to do stuff. But the thing for you about your memory, it gets worse when you get in your 40s.
No kidding, AJ. I'm almost,
because I am there. Because I'm there. I'm in my 40s with all this gray.
Oh Lord, wait till you get almost 60. That's where I'm
Oh
at.
gosh. Yeah, I'll be 53 this year. It's crazy. It's
You'll be
nuts.
50 this year?
53.
53?
Yep. I'm getting
Yeah.
there. Slowly but
Well, I would
surely.
like to go back to 53.
Mm.
I would love to go back to
hmm
25.
hmm
I wished I would have
So
started this worm farm when I was 25.
yeah, no, it's funny how we look back at our lives and wish we could have done this and that. So, do you exercise, or you just get your exercise from your work, or because you said you're at a certain age and you're still active, so I'm guessing your job keeps you fit, correct?
Yes, so
Okay.
no, I don't do any extra exercising other than moving my lips to eat.
That's awesome.
Or talk. Oh
Oh,
Lord.
man. That's awesome.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh
No,
man.
I tell you, I go, my day starts between 5 and 6, and I usually get home around 6 from the farm.
hmm
Cook supper for the kids, get their homework, get their baths, and get them to bed at 8. Now, this is where I'm at now because, I adopted 2 little kids.
hmm
When they go to bed at 8, then that's when I'm on my computer doing all my Instagram stuff. If I'm doing a YouTube or posting a YouTube, or right now I'm in the process of writing a worm course for commercial worm farming, and which will be a long time, y'all. So don't get too excited because I'm trying to make it very good, and so it's going to be hey, it's going to
Or
be a long
Captain.
time before it'll ever come out.
He's at work.
You're at work?
Yeah, there's
You're you're echoing. Now you're a DOT worker, correct?
yeah. So they were inspection signal mast on in the
You're
back
echoing, B. You got to echo. So I can fix it.
had a crack in it. That's what we're doing out here now. Let me
Let
see
me
if I
see. Okay. Let's try. Go ahead now. Say something else.
there we go.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, so then we have group down here because then we'll have flaggers. I'm trying to walk up towards the end. But yeah, that's all.
It's like you. Can you hear him, Sam? Is he echoing?
It's not echoing. It's like it's freezing a little bit. It's
Okay.
going in and out.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. I'm
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that. I saw he was saying something, but I can't hear it.
Say something, B. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I don't get technology. Kind of stinks every now and then.
Yeah, so I'll see if you can see the light that's red right there. The back side of it cracked inside of the hole. So
Yeah, it's hard to hear, B. You got like problems on your phone.
yeah, so I don't know the back side right there.
Mm-hmm.
The back side there actually cracking. So they got to go ahead. They got to go ahead and get the work done.
I understand that. So you got a late night tonight, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll probably. It's 9 o'clock now for me, and they're we've done around 3.
Oh wow, man.
So,
Mm.
yeah, I was glad
So,
guys and they're getting ready to start shutting down the road, so I'll have to go.
all right, B. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, me too.
I'll
Yeah,
Have
you
a good
take care,
night.
buddy.
Yep.
Don't work too hard.
Bye. Okay, we're back.
But
That's awesome,
anyway,
though. Okay.
usually once I get the kids to sleep, then it's, computer work. And a lot of times I'll take a cat nap, but
Mhm.
usually I'm up to about 12.
Oh wow.
Then I'll go to bed and right back up the next day if I don't wake up in the about 2 or 3 and decide to jump back on the computer. Who knows?
So
But I get about 4 hours of sleep a day most of the time.
Oh wow, man. And you work 24, I mean you work 7 days a week. You said you never
Yeah.
have a day off. Okay. So why do you choose not to take one day off? I mean, I know
There's
is
just
it
not
because
enough time in a day with as big as we are with it being.
Okay.
We've been trying to find help, but it's just me and Tabitha full time, and then my grandson, he helps me some after school and weekends. So usually the weekends I'm up there with him. He'll help me feed up and stuff like that, and then she does her exercise by pushing her luck. That's a good one too. But part of that too, AJ, is I am a very much of a workaholic.
Okay.
I'm very, I know what I want, and here's if you really want to know the raw truth, I'm 57 years old.
Okay.
I am building this for my grandchildren. Okay, I may, if God is good and my health holds out, I might have another 20 years that I can build this business for them.
Yeah.
And I want to get everything in a day that I possibly can. And
Okay.
now we do, like this summer I took off, Kyler, 2 or 3 days, and we went to the beach. I took off 2 or 3 days and went to the beach with y'all. Yeah. And then we had another mini vacation that we went to the river for down in Florida for a weekend. So but I do a lot of this stuff myself, as far as my marketing and also now I'm kind of putting some of that off on my marketer guys, that we've got going on now. But they don't do the social side of it. So, but I have got a young girl helping me with some of that. So I'm trying to get things more off my plate. But it's weird when I have time on my hands. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something because I've been doing this for so long. It's like something's wrong. I don't feel right. If I don't have a lot of things going on at one time, I feel like a fish out of water.
Okay. I hear you. So what does your husband think about worms then?
My husband works very long hours as well. Yeah. He's not into the worms at all.
Okay.
He likes what it affords, but and now he'll come up there like last weekend. We're revamping water again. We can't seem to find the water situation that we want. So he's been helping me with that. And then I have a very, very old conveyor that keeps breaking. So he's worked on it the last 2 weekends and got it going again. And it broke again today or yesterday. So he's going to have to do that again this weekend. And he airs up my tires on my wheelbarrows. And, he does those kind of things for me, when I need help with that stuff. Or if the truck needs an oil change or a tire change or any of that kind of stuff, or a piece of
Mhm.
equipment or something, mechanical
Mhm.
stuff, because I don't know anything about that kind of stuff.
Okay, it's cool. No, I understand. We all have different interests and things, so no, that's awesome.
He's in awe, we neither
Mhm.
one thought when, I started this. I just really wanted to grow some worms to go fishing. That was really all I planned on doing at the time, And
Mhm.
then I just had this idea to start this business for a grandchild, and here we are
Mhm.
today.
No, that's awesome. Like I said, I'm glad we all pushed record and made videos. And it's weird how if it wasn't for YouTube, we never would have connected and our friends, our other subscribers and friends. And
Yeah,
I think it's cool. It is
yeah.
really awesome. Yeah. But I won't stay on much longer. Like I said, we're all tired. It's been a long day, and Friday's tomorrow.
There was
But
a question. Someone
I missed
asked,
it.
"How do I balance work and life?" Um, yeah, Las Vegas Worm Farm. I'm averaging 5 to 6 hours sleep, but I also have a full-time job.
Mm,
So, yeah, 5 to 6 hours of sleep because you have a full-time job. That's exactly what I have as a full-time job, and then
mm-hmm,
some.
mm-hmm. I hear you.
um, you take care. You just have to set your priorities. I mean, when my children have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, or something comes up or whatever, I mean, you just have to go take care of that stuff.
Mm-hmm,
The farm just has to be put on hold.
mm-hmm,
And as long as, there's nothing detrimental, worms aren't crawling all over the place out, which I haven't had that happen where I'm at. But,
mm-hmm,
if as long as you don't have a water line broke, spewing out water everywhere or, whatever, then you go and you take care of those things. If it's detrimental to your business, then your child's teeth cleaning might have to wait and get rescheduled.
mm-hmm. I
So
understand. Yeah.
you just have to prioritize. And you kind of your family kind of has to be supportive to an extent too,
Mm-hmm,
because these kids, they understand that, that I work a lot, and but I'm there for the important things, and I mean, I tuck them in at night. We read stories, and I help with their homework, and we do take time to go and eat out sometimes. And like this weekend, they've got it's here in Valdosta. They have a place called Wild Adventures. It's similar to like Six Flags or something like that. It's a theme park, and
mm-hmm,
it's free this weekend due to the hurricane we just had. So there's so many counties that can go in for free, which we usually have season tickets anyway. But they don't know it yet, but I'm planning to take them there Sunday. So
mm-hmm.
um,
That's
you
cool.
just make time to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely understand that. But we will get together again. I wish you the best with your business. Thank you for taking time out to share your conference.
Absolutely.
Maybe next year I can make it, but this year, like I said, things have been busy. Kids
Yep.
just got sent to college and stuff. But yeah, plan on one next year, and I'll try to make a
Love to.
cameo.
Sounds
So,
great.
but I'd call you Ann because she said bye. But Mimi, once again, I want to say thank you so much for
Thank you for having me.
yeah, you're a great friend. Keep up the great work with your business. Keep making those videos when you have time. So, and
All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and we'll
yeah,
catch y'all soon.
yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
All
Bye.
right.